What's up? What's up? Give me just a second. We'll get started. Sorry, I was on another call. We were doing some Facebook ads for some management stuff. So give me a second, and we will get this ball rolling. All right. Here we go. Airbnb Services, baby. Airbnb Services. So first things first, we're back with a weekly Wednesday training for you guys here in the free Facebook group. And it's as we learn new information, we obviously want to help you guys too and grow your knowledge base, your experience, just help in general with everything that we can, right? And for let me back up. For doing this, it allows you guys to win. Like at the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, you guys can have better conversations. You can be a little bit more aware. You can make more money, make better decisions, so you're not going through YouTube University and getting all these opinions. And if you can even find out anything, it's really just to help you kind of move in the right direction. Okay. Now, when the services come out for this, right, this is a big thing. And I don't want to underestimate or what's the word? I don't want to sweep this under the rug and not talk about how serious this is. So we have a lot of people that you look at anything, you look at Uber Eats, you look at DoorDash, you look at these things that it's not just food. It's I can pick up this medicine, or I can pick up these drinks, I can go through and go Walmart shopping, or whatever the case is. So you have all these other platforms that are offering these things. And the fact that Airbnb has taken this long to produce something like this is kind of mind-blowing. And I think they're doing it for a couple different reasons. One, Airbnb as a whole is experiencing the low bookings that a lot of people are going through, right? The saturation in markets and the lower, people, the fees, more people are going back to hotel. They're experiencing that. And that's why they've assigned market managers and trying to allow you to get better at bookings and to understand your calendars better. Understand, we do the listing scripts and things like that. But on the other hand, there's this whole other side of this experience that Airbnb says, well, we sell experiences. That's cool, but all you offer is just a place to book. You're not offering actual experiences. So when you look at it and you say, okay, what is it that they need to do? Well, if you have a high-end place and you're renting on Airbnb, if you have a high-end place, you're well, I want to offer massages and chefs and all these things. It's really hard to find the right people, because then you're calling and you're going out and you're trying to, work these deals with these people and figure out who can, whose calendar aligns and whose doesn't. We have this one property and it does $20,000 a week, about 15 to 20 grand a month. And it is a super, super high-end place. And it's hey, we want to do chefs, right? We want to do catering. We want to do massages. We want to do these things. But there's just this huge lack on the other side of now you're going in Facebook and you're who does chefs and who cooks and does that? And it's such a pain in the butt. So what Airbnb has said is, hey, we're going to create a platform. So when you host a person, somebody can also host catering or something to do while they're in the area. So Airbnb has come out with these two extra things: experiences and services. And when you look at the experiences side and you look at the services side, I'm going to share my screen for a second. And I want you to think about, like, you and the spouse are going out, or you and your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, y'all going out for a date night. And how many of us, I want you to just think about it for a second, how many of us have like went into Google and said things to do in Atlanta? Because we're like, I'm out of new ideas. Things to do in Atlanta, places to eat. And then you have like a bajillion options, and you're like, well, I don't know anything about any of these. We're just going to like maybe pick one, but usually you revert back to something you know. So you go to like, I don't know, Longhorn or Texas Roadhouse, something like that. So I want you to think about that for a second, and what Airbnb has done to like solidify that and kind of satisfy that problem. And then we're going to talk about some pros, some cons, some legal stuff around the experiences and the services. So give me a second. I'm going to share my screen really quickly. And let's see here. Window. Let's go. Well, window, entire screen. There we go. That's what I need. All right. So this is, I'm a host. I'm in my hosting account, and I'm showing you on the backside. Well, yeah, doesn't matter. You click on experiences up here. Okay. And with experiences, you have all these things to do. So like you can go do glass art. And this is near me, right? This is where I live. So this is almost like I don't want to say like a Groupon. Like if you ever been on Groupon, they have like all these different things you can do on Groupon. And this is very similar, but there's not like heavy discounts or anything. It's just all these different things to do. So experiences, right? So you can go get glass art. It's $85 a person. You can design mugs. You can go to a coffee house. You can do go cook biscuits. You can do I don't know. Let's see here. You can make pizza. You could do a t-shirt workshop. You could do personal training. So there's all these like, I mean, honestly, you want to think about like date nights. Like, hey, I'm going to a brand new. So it works for you locally as well, which is cool. It works for you locally. And it also works for you at your destination. So like if you're going to somewhere you've never been, right? The idea, the American dream is like we can travel where we want, when we want, with whoever we want. Well, that's great when you go to a new place. You're like, oh my God, look at this place with this great view and it's on the beach or whatever, but I've never been here. Then you're in Facebook and you're trying to ask all your friends, how many people have been here and what are they saying and what are they doing and all this stuff. And you're like, well, shoot, I don't know. Now you're like, should I go over here? I don't know. Should I go over here? Well, I didn't even know this was here. I didn't know goats on the roof were a thing in Gatlinburg. Like you have all these things. Well, if you look on here, people who are offering these services are like, hey, this is a crazy experience here. Alpacas, feed and pet alpacas. There's these experiences that you can do. And you're like, oh my God, it's right here. They also made it easy where if you like click on this and you want to book this, now this is a listing. Okay. Now comes Airbnb's side of like, okay, like I've got this idea. Let's say you want to rent alpacas in this like huge destination market, whatever. Then you create a listing. So then you go into the listing and it's very much the same thing. Presentation. So then you got your pictures, you've got what you can do, what your itinerary looks like, what your location looks like, the reviews, and then this one actually says no availability. So let's see. I actually don't know why that says that. We'll go to another one. Maybe my times or something, or my days are messed up. All right. Or maybe they just all booked up. So we could go create, like, let's go make some glass. Okay. So we got like, here's glass making, what you'll do. So choose a project, watch a demo, get tutored, make your piece and learn safety. Cool. It's an 1.5-hour experience. And then where it's at. So your meeting point, a little bit about the host. So it's very similar to Airbnb. And then over here, you pick your day. So we're going to pick this day and then it'll tell you, okay, you pay here or whatever. And you can change your, how many guests you have, if you want, 10 people or whatever, and then you can pay. And it's just like Airbnb. But I want you to understand that, like, if you're going to list a service or if you're just going to list an experience or you are trying to book one, like understand what the pictures are, understand what you're going to do, like read the description. I was looking at some last night that were about cooking and they were horrible. The pictures were horrible. The description was horrible. And I was like, nobody's going to book this thing. So again, going back to like, what are we doing? Right now, you have the experiences. So you have the experience on the guest side and on the hosting side. So if you want your hosting side to be like, hey, I have a couple of properties in this area, but I also own a restaurant, or I also own, I don't know, let's see, like you own a coffee shop. Cool. You can put that experience in here and allow the guest to book, and you can link that back and forth. Okay. But then you have your services. Now, this is huge as a host because we can work with photographers, chefs, massage therapists, all of these people that we want to offer in our high-end luxury properties. Swim lesson, you can do that as an experience, I guess, swim lessons. But you can come in here and you say, okay, well, now this is near me. This is Marietta. I live near Atlanta. You can come in here and you can say, okay, I'm going to offer photography. Or you have somebody in your area that's offering photography and they can just book her right here. Now, if you know a photographer or you do photography, you do design, whatever, and you want to offer this as a service, do it and make sure you mark it up. If you find somebody that can do this for you, this can be another source of revenue for you and you can mark it up. Now, let's say, so you got photography, you got catering, chefs, somebody can come and prepare meals, massage therapy. You have these things. And this is kind of like the common services that they're adding. So if you go over to Airbnb, what are the services for Airbnb? So you have chefs, photography, massage therapists, spa treatments, personal training, hair. So hair would be awesome to offer or have somebody offered around you for like if you're hosting weddings or wedding parties in your properties. So like people come to Blue Ridge, a lot of people get married in Blue Ridge and they'll get ready at the house and they'll have something maybe outside, some kind of like super intimate elopement, something like that. Well, they're trying to do their hair and they're having to bring somebody that does hair. It's 2 or 3 hours away and they're getting charged like crazy. Well, we can offer hair. We can find somebody to offer the service, or we can offer it. We can sub it out or just have somebody else that's recommended. Hair and makeup, massive, 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 massive. These two alone in a high-end property that's hosting for weddings. This is huge, absolutely huge. Okay. Nails goes with that. And then you got your meal prep and your catering. So if you were to have a property, let's say that slept 20 something people and you allowed events and weddings at your property, then you should be offering catering, nails, makeup, hair, spa treatments, massages, photographies. You should, like, every one of these services is something that you should be either trying to offer, sub out, get some good recommendations, something. You say, hey, look, I'm going to list it for $200 an hour or whatever. I'm going to pay you $100 an hour, $125 an hour. Cool. All right. So that's massive. So there's your services. Those are your traditional services that Airbnb is offering. And it is early. Okay. So understand, like, you might be looking and be like, whoa, there's nothing in my area, like in Marietta. There's no meal prep. There's no massages. There's no that. They will come. I promise you they will come. Like, they just launched this. It's a new thing for their platform, only like 2 or 3 weeks old. Like it, or however long it is new. Okay. It is new for the industry. It's new for their platform. I promise you there will be more people use it and there will be more options in your area. Now, what I would recommend is finding somebody that you work well together with. You can do a referral fee off of it. You can do all these different things. Make sure you understand and you trust the people that you can set up that come in your home. Now, there's a caveat to that. If you go down here, allowing services in your home, you can make it where, well, let's read through this. Services are automatically allowed in your home. So just that alone. So you may not realize that they're booking catering when they come to your place. You may not even realize it. And you're like, oh my God, I don't know this person that's coming into my home. Well, traditionally, it's a business owner that's going to come in. Okay. So just put that out there. Like, I don't know Joe Smo off the street that's going to come in. Just remember that the people that are offering this are usually a business that's offering. Now, I'm not saying accidents can't happen, but understand that the people coming in here that are offering services, they don't have to be approved by you. They don't have to be, hey, I'm coming. Hey, this is what's going on. They don't have to tell you. It's kind of like a service animal. They don't have to tell you. Okay. Airbnb is saying, hey, every home automatically allows services to be offered in the home. Okay. You can decide not to allow services in your home. So if you are like, hey, look, I don't want anybody coming into my house that's without approval or whatever, you can make that. And you can tell Airbnb, hey, change it on my profile that I don't allow any services in here unless it's approved. And that's a whole nother process in itself. So guests review services separately from their stay with you. Now, I understand that. The biggest fear that I would have is, and if you've been hosting for a while, the biggest fear is they have a bad experience in town, or one of the biggest fears. They have a bad experience in town, something unrelated to you, unrelated to the property, and they still leave you a bad review. Now, this is too early to say, well, they had a bad experience at the glass blowing place, or the catering came to the house and the food was horrible. They're going to review the whole stay because maybe it was a recommendation from you. And they say, this place really didn't meet what we wanted. It was super high end, but the massage sucked and the food sucked and all this stuff. My experience just wasn't that great. Now comes to where their reviewers reflected on you. So I would say get ready for that. Just be prepared for that. And if that happens, it should be grounds for removal. If the review is, and that's where they're going to do their whole review policy. If the review is based off of negative experience on the service, it should be grounds for removal, period, end of story, okay? They're prompted to leave a review as soon as the service ends. Guests are asked to provide an overall rating, detailed ratings, public review, and a private note for the service. The review does not affect the rating or ranking of your home. So if by any reason it happened, Airbnb should be removing the review. Hey, this was not, and you just have to understand that. Understand that, hey, this is a review towards the service. This is grounds for removal because this has nothing to do with the home. So understanding that and understanding how to fight that in the future is huge. All right. Now, and guys, if you have questions, please let me know. If you guys have used the services, I would love to know. If you have an experience with the service, I would love to know. Okay. Now, if you come down here a little bit, understanding insurance. So the services, like your experience, well, it's your services that are coming into your home. Your services, let me go back. So these services that are offered in the homes, your services have their own insurance policy. So let's say a chef comes and they catch the house on fire. Let's just say, God forbid that. They come to the service. The service comes into your home. They have a fire, have a kitchen fire. Your kitchen's demolished. It's $20,000 worth of work. They have an air cover for services. So it says right here, understanding insurance for the service hosts. All service hosts are required to maintain liability insurance appropriately for their business while providing a service. So just like you have to have a homeowner's insurance to rent a house or to own a house, they're also required as a business to have liability insurance. They're also covered by Airbnb's experiences and services liability insurance, which is a part of air cover. Now, if you ever dealt with air cover can suck. It takes forever for them to come back. They usually only approve 70 to 80%, unless it's something, that's black and white. It's hey, this towel was ruined. It's $12. You get the $12 towel back, whatever. So if something tragic was to happen, this should cover it. And so that's where your quotes have to be real. It's just like filing a claim for a broken bed. You have to have good receipts, good pictures, good story, everything sewed up together and delivered. And then they're going to take their 2 or 3 weeks to come back, whatever. But what they're saying is, one, the service hosts should have liability insurance, period. So their insurance should cover this. Usually a business insurance minimum is $1 million coverage. Usually. It's very common. They're also covered by Airbnb's experiences and services liabilities insurance. Now, we can look into that, but it's part of air cover. So this is similar to how you're covered by host liability insurance through air cover for host. When a service takes place in your home, experiences and liability insurance applies if the service host is responsible for damaging your home or belongings. So that's probably a whole nother discussion in itself, but we cross that bridge when we come to it. So recommending services, sharing recommendations can make it easier for your guests. Yes, but they're going to be in their face the whole 9 times, like, the whole 9 yards. They're going to be in their face. Book this service. Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? Now, in your guest books, if you have a relationship with some of these hosts or these service hosts, then it's good to put their recommendations or the recommendations for them in your guest book, right? Or you could put them in your messages. You could do all, like, if hopefully you're using some kind of channel manager, you could do those text messages and those emails and those Airbnb messages saying, hey, here's what we recommend. Here's what I would do today. You can book it right on the app, so it's trusting, okay? All right, of course, you've got, service, whatever, referring, whatever. How will guests know? This is a big question. How will guests know whether they book services in your home? Guests will see if you don't allow services in their home. If they try to book one in your home, they're prompted to choose another location. Guests can still book any service that doesn't place in your home. So they can go to, like, the glass blown factory or the pottery factory or the pottery place. Okay. Let's see. There was another question that I think I seen on here, or somebody asked me, if guests book a service, how will you know if they booked a service? This is what I was saying earlier. Airbnb does not alert you when a guest books a service in your home. Consider letting guests know you're available to answer questions about your space to help any services they book to run smoothly. Now, you can request, hey, if you book a service, please let me know. But they do not have to let you. They do not have to tell you. Airbnb is not going to alert you, which is a good thing and a bad thing. Obviously, if you're watching your cameras, you obviously are going to see somebody show up. And you're going to be like, well, I don't know about that, right? And you're going to say, who's this guy? If you bought, if they booked a massage therapist and you see somebody in your camera bringing a big old table and a speaker or something like that, and you automatically are probably going to think there's a party going on. So as a guest, it is really good for them to allow you to know, like, hey, or to notify you, like, hey, there's something going on. I've got a party going on, or massage therapy going on, or whatever. And you're like, cool. Did you book it to the app? Yes. Cool. Can you send me whatever information I need to know? Cool. So, like, there's some good communication there, but you're going to get the guest that books it and they don't want to tell you, they don't want to talk to you, and you're going to get a lot of pushback. So just be aware of these kind of things that are going to come down the pipeline. And there's going to be more Q&As. There's going to be more policies. There's going to be more things that are going on. But what Airbnb has done is not just attracted certain like house, homeowners and managers, but now they're attracting people who have everyday businesses that are trying to travel with their businesses, come into the home services, because there's really nothing to connect people. I mean, you got, Airbnb was last January served their 1 billionth guest or something like that. So understanding that there's a lot of eyeballs on this app, there's a lot of options for people to book, and there's a lot of other ways for Airbnb to make money. Okay. So let's see here. Let's see if I didn't miss. I think those are pretty much the pause. Just overall cons. I would say the biggest con is really just going to be your insurance, not your insurance, but the insurance policy if something was to happen. Right? They come in, a chef comes in, they're like, oh, I forgot a spoon or whatever, or chop block, whatever, and they're using it, and then something happens and it damages it. The service host should know to send you some pictures of it. Hey, send this over. This was done by me. I'll replace it, whatever. So that claim situation is probably going to be one of the biggest headaches because things are going to happen, right? Massage therapists may spill some oil or something that stains a towel. And you're like, oh my God, I got to pick this up or get this up or whatever. A chef is doing, Worcestershire sauce, and they've got it and they spill it and they've got to clean it up with a rag and it stains the rag. So instead of them taking the rag home and getting out of paying for it, they either just replace it or they let you know and you can file a claim and get paid for it. Okay. But there's going to be massive learning lessons here. Now, what I would do if I were you, I would try to use this experiences as a date night. So you understand the booking process. You understand how it goes. So tonight or this weekend, get with the wife, get with the husband and say, hey, look, I want to go, I don't know, I can search Atlanta, Georgia, and I want to do it on Friday. So I'm going to try to book something on Friday in Atlanta. Don't care where, don't care what, just curious on what it is. So you have civil rights history in Atlanta, so you could book that. Candle making is cool. Sipping coffee. Let's see. I would love to see. Okay, type. There we go. Let's see water sports. Oh, no results found, of course. Let's go to art. So I'm gonna go paint. So I'm gonna take Allie. We're gonna go paint something. Learn how to throw knives. That's interesting. Make unique rugs. There we go. So we're gonna go through this process, right? Like, I've never made a rug. You got me. So we're gonna go through this process. Like, this is really cool. Learn rug making. So here's what you're gonna do. Learn rug making. Use graphic elements. Make handmade rugs. Take home a keepsake. Cool. So you're gonna make it and you're gonna keep it. So you've got, of course, I don't want to say lifestyle photos, but you've got photos of people who actually have done this, right? Like, that's pretty cool. All right. And then you're going to go back. Remember, this is the listing. So you want to see everything that's going on. 14 5-star reviews. Here's your days you can book. So Friday from 12 to 2, we can book that spot. We'll say, okay, well, I want 2 people. Cool. So it's $125 a person. Now, I am curious on the fees. I am very curious on the fees. So if you looked at, and I don't think there's anything stating what the fees are on Airbnb services. This is the insurance that we were talking about. And we can go through that in just a second. I just don't know what the services are. So if you are going to offer this, I don't know if it's 3% or 10% or 20%, or if it's just a monthly subscription. I have no idea. But that would be I'd be really curious to figure that out. So let's go. Okay. Let's say you booked this wherever we were at. Making rugs. Let me just take some of these off here. So you're going to make a rug. You're going to pick this. I would go through this process and I would understand, okay, it's booked through the Airbnb app. You're going to get your messaging. You're welcome, how to get here, how to check in. You're going to have all your automatic messages that way as well. But I would do that. I would go through this and just see what the booking process is. All right, now, this is the last thing that we're going to talk about right here is the insurance. So I clicked on the link in the insurance to see kind of a little bit more details on there, like experiences and services liability insurance. So they're calling it the ELI program. ELI program is a part for Airbnb or air cover for hosts with $1 million coverage. Let's see. Airbnb requires that all experience and service hosts maintain a liability insurance appropriate for their business. Based on the type of experience or service you want to host, you may be required a proof of license. Okay. Start a liability claim. File a claim if a guest gets hurt or their belongings are damaged or stolen. What's covered? Experiences and services liability insurance covers you if you're found legally responsible for bodily injury to a guest and damage to or theft of property belonging to a guest. So this would be like damage. This is probably going to be the most right here. Damage to the property belonging to the property belonging to a guest. Okay. So let's keep reading. The incident must arise out of the booking of an Airbnb experience and service through Airbnb platform and occur during the experience or service or while you're preparing for or cleaning up after your experience or service, not to exceed a 24-hour period. So that's very important because I always play devil's advocate here, right? And you say, well, a chef came in, damaged some towels. We just threw them over to the side. The chef left, and upon checkout, the cleaning team found it. Well, the cleaning team reported it to you. You go back and you say, hey, this was to the guest. And they're going to say, well, was this the guest or was this the service? And you're going to say, well, I have no idea. It was just here. Nobody let us know. Okay, well, if it was the service, then it's technically over 24 hours. We're not going to cover it. So it's really going to be against the guest. So there's where, in my opinion, the biggest problem is going to lie. Is the service, one, didn't realize they broke the bowl or the jar or whatever. They damaged the towels on cleanup. Nobody cared to let you know because they just didn't think about it. And now you are 3 or 4 days later and you're like, hey, I need to file a claim on these towels. And they start looking into it and they say, well, that was actually a service problem. You didn't let us know. That's on you. Now you're screwed, right? That's why I like Safely. We have reservation insurance outside of Airbnb, but that's why I like them. So that is going to be a massive thing, in my opinion. Experience and services liability insurance that it does not cover damage or injury to a guest resulting from something done intentionally. That's crazy. Damage or injury to a guest resulting from something done intentionally. So your massage therapist punched somebody in the face. I don't think it's going to cover that. Damage, loss, or theft to your personal property. Okay, that's interesting. So if you have an owner's closet, make sure it's locked up. Experiences involving aircraft or certain types of extreme activities like bungee jumping, online related risks such as defamation, theft, okay, or other exclusions apply. Yeah, that's super broad. The claims process. If you need to file a claim, just fill out our liability insurance intake form. The info will be sent to our trusted third-party insurer who will assign your claim to a representative. They'll resolve your claim according to the terms of the insurance. No opt-in required. Air cover for hosts and its benefits are always included and always free. If you opt out, be sure to include the exact title of your listing. Okay. Doesn't cover hosts who offer experiences in Japan. All right. So one thing I do want to relook at this and reread this. What's covered? The Eli insurance covers you if you're found legally responsible for bodily injury to a guest or others. But it will not cover you if it was done on purpose. Okay. Damage to or theft of property belonging to a guest. So if you break something of the guest, it will not cover you if somebody steals your stuff. Okay, now now since we're dissecting this insurance, I'm a little bit more clear. So you are a host in the services, and if you break somebody's leg by accident, they'll cover you. If you break somebody's leg on purpose, they will not cover you. If your personal property gets stolen by a guest, it will not cover you. If you damage a guest property, it will cover you. Online related risk defamation. Okay. If a guest says, hey, you're a liar and you suck and your business sucks, they're not going to cover you. Okay. Now that I understand, God, that's confusing, but I'm glad we're going over this. Okay. And that came off of a link in their about the services section was their insurance. All right. Let's see. And this is based off if you are a services host. This is the insurance that you're going to cover. Now, if you're the property owner, like we were going back and forth, I was going back and forth with scenarios. If you're the property owner and something happens, then it should be covered regardless. It should be covered regardless. Now, if you're if you're offering the services, then you have to report anything within 24 hours. It doesn't matter what it is. It has to be reported in 24 hours after your service is rendered. If you're a property host, you may not know any of this is going on, but if something gets damaged, it should be, doesn't matter what it is, should be 100% covered under air cover. Should be. I'm sure we're going to hear some crazy stories. And if it gets to where it's just so much in your area, just opt out of it. That's all you have to do. Just send them, and to opt out of services handled in your home, says right here, email us from the email address associated with your host account. be sure to include the exact title of your listing, your full name, and the phone number associated with your host account. The email link above is only for opting out. So if you absolutely don't want this stuff in your home and you don't want any of this going on inside, then you can do that. Because what you can do, or what the guest can do, is when they go to book services, let's just, I don't know, photography or whatever. You could say, hey, we want to do photography, but we don't want to do it in the house. We want to do massage therapy, but we don't want to do it in the house. So you wouldn't be booking like catering, but like, now I'm not sure if you start opting out of all this stuff, if it's going to help or hurt you in the algorithm. So if you've got a really, really nice property and you start opting out of all of your services, you don't want any services in your home, it could affect the algorithm. Now, they haven't released anything that I know of that states you will be boosted higher. I imagine that you would be, but it doesn't, there's nothing on here that I have seen that states you can be boosted higher or lower based on you opting out of these services or not. I imagine that they would probably lower your rankings if you opt out of the stuff. Okay. All right. If you have any questions for this, please let me know. If you have any experiences through the services and the experience section at Airbnb, please let me know. I would love to hear about it. If you need any help with any of this stuff, please let me know. I will try my best to help you as well. Okay. Let's see. Any questions so far? I don't think so. I don't think anybody has any questions. Cool. We're just here to learn. I love it. Not a problem. And with that, I will leave you guys for another Wednesday training. The more you know, I'm going to start having to call this something like not weekly Wednesday training, but I don't know, pro tip Wednesday or something. Yeah, I don't know. So if you guys need me, let me know. From that, I will leave you guys. I hope you have a great weekend, great rest of the week. If you're in the community, then I will see you probably tomorrow on some calls, and I will talk to y'all later. Adios.